I am your Rusame reader, Crowsong, and today I will be reading to you from Royal Guard by Mirio Wright. Now, on to Chapter 19, Secret Garden. After the mess of visiting the sick Russian, he eventually got better in a day, after some rest, of course. Belarus informed him that the prince had personally visited him during that time frame. Albeit the Russian was grateful, he was also quite worried. He was fully aware of how he acted while sick and silently prayed that he didn't say anything weird to the prince. Throughout the entire day, while Russia tailed the prince as he went to do his lessons and such, America didn't seem to talk to him much. His face was solemn and always staring straight ahead, which was strange enough. Other than that, the American gave him side glances just for split seconds before turning away without a word. On the other hand, America was simply thinking about things related to the hypothesis he made yesterday. But at the end of the day, whether he liked Russia or not should not change the fact that their attitude between each other shouldn't change. As the evening light slowly arose, they both walked back to the prince's headquarters, the feeling of worry slowly eating at the Russian as the seconds ticked by. "It's almost evening," America muttered. The Russian was a little startled that the prince actually spoke to him. "Say, if you were to suddenly become royal, how would you feel?" "I'm not royal, though?" They both couldn't see each other's expression. The Russian walked behind the prince's shadow. "What if?" America repeated. "In what possible situation would I suddenly become a royal?" The American sighed. "I don't know, a marriage?" The royal guard thought for a second. "I simply cannot have thoughts like that. My duty is to serve you and only you. Nothing else." But for a split second, just a split second, he actually thought about it. "Never mind then. Actually, I want to show you something." The mood flipped around as the American started to drag his guard somewhere. They turned a few corners before finding themselves in front of the water fountain. Then they continued on. Behind the fountain was a large hedge that even Russia could not look over. The prince tapped around for a while before pressing his fingers on the hard surface. He felt around for a while before gripping the handle of a door and opening a secret door hidden in the hedges. America placed a finger on his lips before entering the door. The Russian followed and shut the door behind him. Inside the mysterious door was a little secret garden. It was full of beautiful flowers and overgrown vines on the walls. The grass beneath them was soft and fresh. "This is my secret garden. I go here sometimes to relax. It's actually quite comforting in here." America plopped down on the grassy ground. He patted an area next to him, gesturing for the Russian to sit down as well. He did as he was told and sat down. "This feels like one of those cliché romantic books in the Royal Library." America sighed to himself. He glanced over at his guard, who was eyeing a specific bush of flowers. "If you want to take some, then go ahead." America threw him a dorky smile. "Thank you." The Russian's face flushed as he got up to pick some flowers out. America watched him intently. "Do I actually like him or not? I certainly feel like I do, but Russia has such high moral standards that I feel like he'd be disgusted with me if he ever found out." Maybe I should start hitting on him in a more obvious manner. America grabbed a stray flower next to his feet and started twiddling it around between his fingers. Hey, Russia, you know the winter ball is going to start soon. I don't know the exact date, but it's probably within a week. The American tried to strike up a conversation. Is that so? I'm sure Princess Japan will be there to stand by your side, the Russian replied, in a pissed-off tone that wasn't quite visible to America. America's face slowly grew dark as he thought about it for a second. That's right, I have a marriage with her. Basically, I like my guard, and that happens to be a guy. But I happen to have an arranged marriage with a girl I consider as an older sister, even though I don't have feelings for girls in general. Great, this is just awesome, he sarcastically implied internally. Soon the Russian sat back down with the flowers and other things. He started to make something. What are you doing? America piped up in curiosity. I'm making something. What are you making? A flower crown. The prince raised an eyebrow. You know how to make those? He asked, staring intently. Yeah, it's embarrassing though, so I never told anyone. The tricolored country somehow said with a straight face. I never thought someone as strict and aloof as you would know how to make a flower crown of all things. America tried to hold in the laughter. Russia didn't say another word. He kept crafting it. His face turned a little bit red out of embarrassment. After he was finished, he held in his hands a beautiful flower crown with ocean blue flowers embedded into it. As the Russian set it down, America grabbed it gently and placed it on his head. How do I look? He grinned at his guard. Very nice. His voice trailed off. The American's eyes landed on his face, where there laid a gentle and warm smile. His eyes widened immediately. You smiled, America points out. Ah! The Russian hurriedly thickened his face once again. No, please do it again. America cupped the Russian's cheeks in between his slender hands. What are you doing? Russia jumped back a little. Sorry. You just looked even more handsome when you have a smile on your face, America blurted out without thinking. After realizing what he said, his face flushed. What the hell did I just say? He internally screamed. Russia turned away, making the friends' faces back. Hey, don't be mad at me. I really didn't mean to. I don't understand why you think not smiling is better. When, in truth, Russia wasn't even mad. He just turned away to hide the very obvious red blush on his face. When you smile, it makes me happy, so please smile again, America said quietly after a moment of silence between the two. Russia turned back to face the prince after he was sure the heat on his face had dwindled. He went back to crafting flower crowns. The prince only watched in silence as he did. When it was done, Russia placed it on his own head. It was a very well-made flower crown, with purple flowers embedded into it. Soon after, the same warm smile as before appeared on his face. America jolted out of his seat and pretended to be picking out flowers from the bush next to him. He wasn't actually going to pick flowers, though. He was just waiting for the warmth on his face to subside but every time he did, the same image would flash through his mind, making him flush again. It was a never-ending cycle. Is it possible to fall for someone harder? And that is the end of this chapter. I hope you've enjoyed. Once again, the link to my Discord is down in the description. We have a lot of fun there. I hope you'll join us. Also, we haven't had a role or actually channel updates in a while, which is kind of surprising considering we have a section called It Came From Voice Chat, because it came from voice chat. But yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, currently I think we might be a little distracted because me and my friend are writing a story that I'm eventually going to read on this channel. But it's not going to be out for at least another year, probably. Considering it's going to be a long story. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but it's going to be long. And I think we're going to field strip someone. We also spent a lot of time Googling. So, if that tells you anything, yeah. But I hope you have a great day, night, whatever it is for you. And, I'll see you tomorrow.